Hi. So, Celso, when you were looking for a solution, did you consider a number of other solutions?
Well, not really. The main requirement for us was a solution that seamlessly integrated with our IFS system, and Leadent offered that. Your solution offered that. Had we not selected Leadent, we would have had to build that integration, and that would have significantly reduced the value of the solution for us. So we kind of scanned the market a little bit, but the fact that you seamlessly integrated with IFS made the case for us very clearly.
So, what are the main kind of KPIs you've been tracking?
Yeah, it comes down to two main KPIs. One is we call a CGI, and that stands for can't get in. So as you know, we are a company that has technicians driving trucks and fixing things for customers, residential customers. And if the customer calls us for a repair or a preventive maintenance, and that is done well ahead of time, say 3, 4 weeks ahead of time, and at the customer's convenience, and then when the technician actually shows up, if the customer is not there for whatever reason, then it's wasted time for the customer, it's wasted time for us. So we track how many of our calls result in that situation, and then we call them CGIs. So that's one of the main KPIs, was a reduction in CGIs that we expected from keeping the customer abreast of the technician whereabouts many times before the actual call takes place, service visit takes place. And we saw a reduction in that, thankfully. That was part of one of our main drivers, and we saw a reduction in that. The second KPI is a number of calls, so telephone calls, to our call center for a single service visit. So what that means is customer calls first, books the service visit, and let's say they have to call again during the day of the visit to track the technician's whereabouts for an ETA update or even to cancel a call or reschedule a call. So again, if the customer has to call us again multiple times for the same service visit, it's wasted time for the customer, wasted time and money for us. And again, we saw a reduction in number of calls per service visit, both of those KPIs were the business case for this solution, and when they more than paid for the investment.
You've got your money back already, so to
Well,
speak.
we're projecting to get the money back in the next few months. Yeah.
Have there been any insights using On My Way that you've sort of picked up?
Yeah. Well, we were surprised that in addition to the KPIs that I just talked about, we saw an uptick in valid email addresses and mobile phone numbers for our customers as a result of this. We didn't expect that. And the insight here is that if the customer sees that there's benefit for them in providing the proper and updated phone number and or email address, they will do that, and that's good for us and for future purposes as well. For example, marketing campaigns and keeping in touch with customers altogether. So again, we were tracking hard dollars based on wasted time, reduction of wasted time, but we didn't see the extra benefit or side benefit of being in touch with customers in a better way, a more precise and accurate way, which was a very nice benefit to get from this as well.
So, have you changed any business processes from using On My Way at all?
It was very important for us not to touch the field, not to change what the field does. So, in fact, we have a process that we call a right call, and that's well documented. That's all of our technicians are trained on that, and it includes things that, for example, a technician has to phone the customer when they're on their way to the customer's home to advise that they're on their way. And you could think that because we have the solution in place now, the technician wouldn't have to do that. So we considered changing that, and then we concluded better not to change anything at all. Our process is well documented and well understood and trained. And this is just an extra step or an extra customer service that we're adding. So no, we have not changed it, and that was on purpose.
What was your experience like working with us?
Your technical team is excellent. We had some going in. We had some requirements that I don't want to say unique, but they were not part of the solution that came out of the box, and we had to work with the team to sort of either find solutions, workarounds, or develop new functionality, which your team very quickly was able to architect and develop in an affordable way and with quality too, like getting it right the first time. So I was very impressed by your technical team. They were all very attentive and responsive, and throughout the whole engagement, it was just a pleasure to work with them.
So, going back to the solutions, also, how have customers reacted to it?
Yeah, it's a little Too early perhaps to tell for sure because we just completed the rollout a couple of months ago. But we do track customer satisfaction as one of our metrics. We're not projecting a significant increase because this is sort of the thing that customers came to expect now that with
Mhm.
the experience like Uber and Amazon and things like that, they expect that sort of experience now. But we will see in verbatim comments that come back from our survey, our Net Promoter Score survey, if that made a difference. And we expect to see some sort of commentary in that regard. Haven't seen anything yet, but as I said, it's too early to tell. So at this point, it's just an expectation from a customer's
Come
perspective.
back and have that chat with you in 6 months' time, maybe.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Are you using your call center resources any differently?
Yeah, and as I mentioned, well, twofold, right? Number one, number of calls per service visit has reduced, so that optimizes utilization of our call center agents. We have over 1,000 call center agents spread out in multiple geographies, and you can imagine every single call that is reduced, multiply by the number of calls that we receive a year is a significant resource optimization opportunity. That's one. Number two is in explaining to the customer that their email address and their phone number is going to be used for this purpose, which changed the conversation with the customer a little bit, not much, but a little bit. That entices the customer to provide accurate information, which has benefits for us along the way. So to answer your question, minor changes, but very significant results.
So there are all sorts of different aspects to the product we provide. Which do you think are the most important to your customers or your team?
Yeah, I'd like to highlight the fact that there's parameters you can use in the solution to drive different functionality, different results. So I'll give you an example. So we can share the status of the actual whereabouts of the technician with the customer only when our technician statuses the call being en route to the customer's location, as opposed to at the beginning of the day, or actually we can do it whenever we want. It's driven by status updates. So the ability to customize the notification can go, but the actual whereabouts is only going to be shared at a certain point was very powerful for us. Another example is the ability to send multiple notifications along the way. So I gave you an example earlier in this conversation about a preventive maintenance that is booked months ahead of time. And in that case, you want to tell the customer, number one, that as soon as it's booked, that we have your record here, and then a week earlier tell them that we're going to be there in about a week, and then for 48 hours earlier, 24 hours earlier, and when we're on our way. So this multiple notification ability is also very powerful for us. In other cases where it's a significant repair, let's say it's a plumbing call and there's water leaking all over the place. Usually our customers will call right now and we'll be there in a couple of hours. So in that case, the multiple notification doesn't make sense, but we can customize the solution to adjust to the type of call and the type of urgency that is required. So I like that. Those are just simple examples. There's multiple examples in that regard, but I like that ability to use different parameters to
Mhm.
customize the solution, so to speak.
So you sort of got different customer journeys, haven't you, really, depending
Yeah, for
on what point they're coming into the journey, etc.
exactly. We call it call types. So there are multiple call types, and it's based. Same customer could have multiple call types, and it's based on expectations and process.
Is there anything you think the tool's missing or anything you'd like to add to it?
Well, I wouldn't say missing. There were a few things, and I think I called out earlier that we had to work with your team to develop a few things. And so at this point, it has everything we need. But in terms of the engagement with Leadent, one of the suggestions that I would have for you is perhaps structure different types of commercial agreements, such that for customers like us, where we wanted to see the solution a little bit and try it before we rolled it out. If we could sort of work up to the subscription level, to the final subscription level, as opposed to just committing to the full solution day one, even though in our case, it took us 8 months to have it all rolled out, but we had to pay it from day one. And so I wish we had a different way of engaging with you in that regard, even if that meant I would have to pay a little more for the labor in constructing the tool in a way we want. So I understand that was well explained to me, but as a suggestion to you, I would perhaps consider that a different commercial arrangement.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes so. Going back to the project and sort of finally, really, what were the original goals? And I think you've probably gone through this and sort of talked about them as having been met, but just as
Yeah,
sort of in terms of recap would be quite interesting.
yeah. So as I mentioned, it's well, it's threefold really, right? One is efficiency, and without getting to the detail that I did earlier, right? So efficiency. So how can we optimize the use of our resources, be it field resources, technicians driving trucks, or call center resources? So that's number one. Number two is customer satisfaction, and that's clear, right? So as I said earlier, customers come to expect this type of engagement and functionality and awareness and respect of their time. And number three is really competitive advantage. Not every one of our competitors does this type of work or service or provides this type of functionality. So that sets us apart in the market, and I think we hit all three.
Finally, is there anything we could have done better as an organization to support you apart from the pricing model?
No, I can't. Other than that, I can't think of anything. Every time, and everything I needed from your team, you're very prompt and professional, and you know, I had nothing but good things to say about that. I wish all of my providers were just as responsive and provide a quality work as you do.
Thank you.